From the hit series Life in the Amazon comes an all-new spin-off focused on animal life centering on the African rivers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Life in Africa. From the intimidating Nile crocodile with its razor-sharp teeth and its predatory instincts to the gorgeous African cichlids and tropical fish. To the hungry hippos, the mighty lions, friendly zebras, and the tall reticulated giraffes, every animal from Africa will be discussed. Life in Africa goes live right now. Please press start.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life in Africa. Today, we travel to Nigeria to learn about Nigerian wildlife. We're going to learn about the land animals that live in Nigeria, and then we are also going to learn about the freshwater fish species that live in Nigerian lakes and rivers. So come along with me as I journey to Nigeria to learn about Nigerian wildlife. What is your favorite animal from Nigeria? Let me know in the comments down below. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this episode of Life in Africa started. And let's start by learning about the country Nigeria. Here is some information about Nigeria. All about Nigeria. So, Nigeria is a country in West Africa. It is situated between the Sahel to the north and the Gulf of Guinea to the south in the Atlantic Ocean. Nigeria has a population of over 230 million. It is the most populous country in Africa and the world's sixth most populous country. Nigeria borders Niger in the north, Chad in the northeast, Cameroon in the east, and Benin in the west. Nigeria is a federal republic comprising 36 states and the federal capital territory where the capital, Abuja, is located. The largest city in Nigeria is Lagos, one of the largest metropolitan areas in the world and the largest in Africa. Nigeria has a varied landscape. The far south is defined by its tropical rainforest climate, where annual rainfall is 60 to 80 inches per year. Mangrove swamps are found along the coast. The area near the border with Cameroon, close to the coast, is rich rainforest and part of the Cross-Sanga-Biko coastal forest ecoregion, an important center for biodiversity. It is a habitat for the drill primate, which is found in the wild only in this area and across the border in Cameroon. The area surrounding Calabar Cross River State, also in this forest, are believed to contain the world's largest diversity of butterflies. The area of southern Nigeria, between the Niger and the Cross Rivers, has lost much of its forest because of development and harvesting by increased population and has been replaced by grassland. Everything in between The far south and far north is savanna. Insufficient tree cover with grasses and flowers located between trees. Rainfall is more limited to between 500 and 1,500 millimeters, which is 20 and 60 inches per year. The savanna zone's three categories are Guinean forest savanna mosaic, Sudan savanna, and Sahel savanna. Guinea forest savanna mosaic is plains of tall grass interrupted by trees. Sudan savanna is similar, but with shorter grasses and shorter trees. Sahel savanna consists of patches of grass and sand found in the northeast. And that is information about the country Nigeria. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of today's show. And let's learn about the land animals, the Nigerian wildlife, shall we? And we're going to start by learning about the land animals that live in Nigeria. Up first, we're going to start with some primates that live in Nigeria. How about a baboon? Let's learn about baboons, a ugly but interesting primate in my personal opinion. Here is what a baboon looks like. So for each animal that I'm going to discuss, I'm going to give you some information on them. So the baboon is one of 23 genera of old world monkeys. They are found in open savannas and woodlands across Africa, including Nigeria. They are omnivorous and their diet consists of a variety of plants and animals. Their principal predators are Nile crocodiles, leopards, lions, and hyenas. Most baboons live in hierarchical troops containing harems. Baboons can determine from vocal exchanges what the dominance relations are between individuals. In general, each male can mate with any female. The mating order among the males depends partly on their social rank. Females typically give birth after a 6-month gestation, usually to one infant. And that is the baboon, which you'll find in Nigeria. That's one of several primates that you'll find in Nigeria. Let's talk about our next primate that you'll find in Nigeria. It is known as the Western gorilla, or as I like to call it, the silverback gorilla. And I call it the silverback gorilla because, as you can see here on the screen, the color on the back of this gorilla is silver. So let's learn about the Western gorilla, aka the silver gorilla. It is a great ape found in Africa, and you'll find them in Nigeria. Large and robust gorillas with males weighing around 370 pounds. The hair is significantly lighter in color than that of the eastern gorilla, and it is geographically isolated from them in a region at the Midwest of the African continent. Now, the Western gorilla, aka the silverback gorilla, is the second largest living primate after the eastern gorilla. Western gorillas have black, dark gray, or dark brown gray hair with a brownish forehead. Males average 5 foot 5.7 inches, although reaching a height up to 5 foot 9.3 inches, with males having an average weight of 370 pounds and females weighing 58 to 72 kilograms, which is 128 to 159 pounds. Western gorilla diets are high in fiber, including leaves, stems, fruit, pits, flowers, bark, invertebrates, and soil. The frequency of each of these are consumed depends on the particular Western gorilla group and the season. Furthermore, different groups of Western gorillas eat different numbers and species of plants and inverts, suggesting they have a food culture. You gotta love the silverback gorilla, an interesting primate that lives in Nigeria. All right. So the next primate we're going to talk about is a primate that is well known all around the world. And it is a dangerous primate. It is absolutely dangerous to humans. Just think of Charlotte Nash. She was attacked by one of these primates. She lost her face, she lost her fingers, and she was severely damaged by a chimpanzee attack. And other humans were attacked by chimpanzees as well. But in their natural habitat, which is Nigeria, this is where they live. So let's learn about the chimpanzee. For the record, chimpanzees should never be kept as pets. Leave them in Nigeria in their natural habitat, and you won't have to worry about being attacked by a chimpanzee, because chimpanzees are one powerful primate. They are much stronger than humans. Now, the chimpanzee is a species of great ape native to the forests and savannas of tropical Africa. They have 4 confirmed subspecies and a 5th proposed one. The chimpanzee lives in groups that range in size from 15 to 150 members, although individuals travel and forage in much smaller groups during the day. The species live in a strict male-dominated hierarchy where disputes are generally settled without the need for violence. Nearly all chimpanzee populations have been recorded using tools, modifying sticks, rocks, grass, and leaves, and using them for hunting and acquiring honey, termites, ants, nuts, and water. The species has also been found creating sharpened sticks to spear small mammals. Its gestation period is 8 months. The infant is weaned at about 3 years old, but usually maintains a close relationship with its mother for several years more. And that is the chimpanzee. All right. So those are the primates that live in Nigeria. Let's move on to other animals that live in Nigeria. And one huge animal that lives in Nigeria is the hippopotamus. So let's learn about hippos right now, shall we? And I'll throw up an image of a hippo on the screen right now. Wow, that is a huge hippo. Now, despite their physical resemblance to pigs and other terrestrial even-toed ungulates, the closest living relatives of the hippos are cetaceans, which are whales, dolphins, porpoises, etc., from which they diverged about 55 million years ago. Hippos are recognizable for their barrel-shaped torsos, wide opening mouth with large canine tusks, nearly hairless body, pillar-like legs, and large size. Adults average 3,300 pounds for bulls, and bulls are males, and 2,900 pounds for cows, and cows are females. Despite its stocky shape and short legs, it is capable of running 19 miles per hour over short distances. Hippos inhabit rivers, lakes, and mangrove swamps. Territorial bulls, males, each preside over a stretch of water, and a group of 5 to 30 cows, females, and calves, babies. Mating and birth both occur in the water. During the day, hippos remain cool by staying in water or mud, emerging at dusk to graze on grasses. While hippos rest near each other in the water, grazing is a solitary activity, and hippos typically do not display territorial behavior on land. And that is information on hippopotamuses, which you'll find in Nigeria. All right, so let's learn about another land animal that lives in Nigeria. It is a wild dog. And no, this dog is not as friendly as dogs that we have as pets. They are killers, and they are known as African painted dogs or African war dogs. So basically, they're like African wolves. But you do have to admit, the African painted dog is a very beautiful, gorgeous dog. I wish it could be kept as a pet, but you probably couldn't trust them. Now, the African painted dog is a specialized diurnal hunter of ungulates, which includes pigs and animals like that, which it captures by using its stamina and cooperative hunting to exhaust them. Its natural competitors are lions and spotted hyenas. Lions will kill the dogs where possible, while hyenas, there are frequent kleptoparasites. So unfortunately for the African painted dog, when it sees a lion, it most likely will get killed. But when it sees a hyena, well, the hyena is going to steal their food. But the hyena will let them see another day. But the African painted dog is a cool wild dog species that you will see in Nigeria. And again, look how beautiful the African painted dog or the African war dog is. All right, one of my all-time favorite animals is elephants. I love elephants. And Nigeria is home to a couple of different species of elephants. Nigeria is home to the African elephant and the African bush elephant. And today we are going to be talking about the African bush elephant. So let me get a picture of the African bush elephant up on the screen for you. There is an African bush elephant. Now, African bush elephants are the largest living terrestrial animal, with bulls reaching a shoulder height of 13 feet and a body mass of up to 11.5 short tons. It is a social mammal traveling in herds composed of cows and their offspring. Adult bulls usually live alone or in small bachelor groups. It is a herbivore, feeding on grass, creepers, herbs, leaves, and bark. The menstrual cycle lasts 3 to 4 months, and females are pregnant for 22 months, which is the longest gestation period of any mammal. And that is the African bush elephant, a gorgeous elephant from Africa. And now it's time to talk about another favorite mammal of mine that comes from Africa and Nigeria, and that is the long-necked animal, giraffe. So let's learn about the giraffe, which you'll find in Nigeria. Very, very cool animal giraffes are. Giraffes are the tallest living terrestrial animal and the largest ruminant on Earth. The giraffe's chief distinguishing characteristics are its extremely long neck and legs, its horn-like Oscar cones, and its spotted coat patterns. The food source is leaves, fruits, and flowers of woody plants. Lions, leopards, spotted hyenas, and African wild dogs may prey upon giraffes. Giraffes live in herds of related females and their offspring, or bachelor herds of unrelated adult males, but are gregarious and may gather in large aggregations. Males establish social hierarchies through necking, combat bouts where the neck is used as a weapon. Dominant males gain mating access to females, which bear sole responsibility for rearing the young. And that is information on giraffes, a cool animal that you'll find living in Nigeria. Other mammals and other wildlife that you'll find in Nigeria include lions. You'll see lions all throughout Nigeria. And this is only the third episode of Life in Africa, so we're going to talk exclusively about lions in the future. African buffaloes, leopards, and hyenas. So other wildlife in Nigeria include lion, African buffalo, leopards, and hyenas. All right, now it's time for the fish keepers part of the show. It's time to learn about the freshwater fish that live in Nigeria. It's time to learn about the fish that live in Nigerian lakes and rivers. So the first fish species that lives in Nigerian lakes and rivers is what's called a clay goby. Now, what's very interesting about the clay goby is that it is related to the jade goby. And the jade goby can be found all around the world. Jade goby can be found in South America, in Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, Peru. The jade goby can also be found in the United States of America. And I do believe the jade goby can be found in parts of Africa. But there is one species of dormitor gobies that is exclusive to Africa, and that is the clay goby. It is my understanding that the clay goby is a smaller goby and does not exceed 8 inches. So I think the clay goby can get up to about 7 inches. Very, very cool little fish to have in the aquarium. Clay gobies do come into the aquarium hobby every now and then. If you were looking for a clay goby, Wet Spot Tropical Fish gets them every now and then. Another interesting fish that comes from Nigeria, one of my all-time favorite oddball fish from Africa, is the elephant nose fish, or also known as the Peter's elephant nose fish. This is a mormid fish, and they have electrical organs in their body, which is really cool. The elephant nose fish can grow to be about 8 inches. They like to be kept in groups, and they'll eat anything from bloodworms, brine shrimp, live blackworms, and mysis shrimp. They're somewhat difficult to keep in a home aquarium, from what I've been told. I personally haven't kept them, but they're somewhat fragile from what I've been told. But until I keep them, I don't know how true that is. But I do know that the elephant nose fish, very, very cool oddball fish from Africa. Can't go wrong with an elephant nose fish. They're awesome to be living in Nigeria, lakes, and rivers. Up next, we have the African Odie pike. Now, we mentioned the African Odie pike last episode of Life in Africa when we were talking about African river monsters. Well, you'll find the African Ode pike in Nigeria. This is not the largest fish in Nigeria. It's a medium-sized fish when you think about the other fish that live in Nigeria, but it's a cool aquarium fish nonetheless. Very, very cool, unique, predatory chericin. Well, arowanas are one of my favorite monster fish. And did you know Africa has an arowana species? And it is known as the African arowana. And look how beautiful the African arowana is. Now, African arowanas are a lot different than your silver arowana. They're a lot different than your black arowana, and they're certainly a lot different than your Giardini and your Asian arowanas. African arowanas are more closely related to the arapaima. The only difference is the African arowana stays a lot smaller than the arapaima, and the African arowana has been known to be a filter feeder. So the African arowana is going to eat very small organisms that are in the water, which is pretty cool. However, in the aquarium hobby, some aquarium hobbyists have gotten their African arowanas on a more normal diet, which would include cut up pieces of fish and shellfish and fish food. So I think, generally speaking, the African arowana is a generalist diet. While they do filter feed, I do think they'll end up eating small crustaceans and other things in the African waters as well. So in Nigeria, you will find the African arowana, which is a very, very cool fish, to say the least. In the future, I would like to keep an African arowana. I don't think you can go wrong with an African arowana. All right. So another African fish that I would like to keep in the future also lives in Nigeria, and that is the tigerfish. Now, this particular species that lives in Africa is called, this particular tigerfish that lives in Nigeria is called a Hydrocynus videatus. So it's the videatus tigerfish that you'll find in Nigeria. Boy, oh boy, that is a tetra that I would love to get my hands on and keep. The videatus tigerfish stays a lot smaller than the Goliath tigerfish, but boy, oh boy, is it the predator. The videatus tigerfish is as much of a predator as the Goliath tigerfish, even at a smaller size. They still like to predate on small fish. and anything that will fit in its mouth. So you'll find the Videotis tigerfish in Nigeria. Another cool, interesting fish. Well, Nigeria is home to this cool catfish, a shocking catfish to say the least, and it is the electric catfish. Now, my dad is a big fan of electric catfish, and throughout his years of being a fish keeper, he kept several electric catfish. Electric catfish are cool and all, but boy, are they a boring fish to keep in the aquarium hobby. You can't really have any tank mates with the electric catfish because they'll stunt them and then eat them, so they'll end up killing any fish you put in there with them. And they just sit in their rock all day and don't really move. So I probably wouldn't keep an electric catfish unless I've got a spare 75-gallon where I want a fish that doesn't move. But they are a cool-looking catfish, and you will find the electric catfish in Nigeria. Well, did you know Africa is home to some snakeheads? I never knew that. I never knew that there were snakeheads that live in Africa. Just like I never knew that Africa has freshwater stingrays. Yes, on a future episode of Life in Africa, we will talk about the African freshwater stingrays. But for right now, we're going to talk about a species of snakehead that lives in Nigeria. And that is the obscure snakehead. And let's take a look at how beautiful the obscure snakehead really is. So here is an image of a obscure snakehead, a really beautiful snakehead, one that I really like. Now, the obscure snakehead is a bottom-dwelling and migratory freshwater fish. This fish lives in streams, ponds, rivers, lakes, marshes, lagoons, swamps, and floodplains. The obscure snakehead is also known as the sleeping fish, as it spends much of its time motionless among the aquatic vegetation. And here's another picture of the obscure snakehead. Very, very cool snakehead. I wish snakeheads were not illegal in the United States of America because I would like to keep an obscure snakehead. Obscure snakeheads are carnivorous fish. Adults feed primarily on other fish up to half their size, while juveniles feed on insect larvae, insects, prawns, and copepods. Very, very cool fish to say the least. All right. Right now, Life in Africa is going to take a quick intermission. During this intermission, you're going to hear a word from our supporters, Oasis Aquatics, Little Egypt Aquarium Club, and Fish Keeping for Kids. And also during this intermission, you're going to hear about some upcoming special events. Special events here on my YouTube channel, Aqua Alex Cardinale. Don't you dare go anywhere. Life in Africa, Nigerian wildlife continues right after this word from our supporters and after you learn about our special events.
Saturday Live returns to our normal airtime of 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Saturday, November 4, 2023. On the next Saturday Live with Alex Cardinale, Thanksgiving-themed Saturday Live begin. Alex Cardinale will discuss the history of Thanksgiving and Alex will give out Thanksgiving planning tips. Sergeant Slaughter will have Thanksgiving facts and facts on PetSmart. See Chef Alex make pumpkin whoopie pies. Oasis Aquatics featured fish is the saddled Bishir aka Polypterus andali. Aqua Alex's featured fish will be the Volatin lionfish. WWE fan Alex Cardinale reviews and recaps WWE Crown Jewel 2023. Plus, Karens of the Week, funny videos, Tampa Bay Buccaneers NFL Week 9 preview against the Houston Texans, all that and more. Live Saturday, November 4th, 2023 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on YouTube channel Aqua Alex Cardinale.
Aqua Alex invites you to come celebrate 200 episodes of Aquatic Wetline live on Sunday, November 12th, 2023 at a special start time of 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. The 200th episode of Aquatic Wetline is action-packed with lots of fun tropical fish chat for the fish keepers. It's a fish keeping bash on the 200th episode of Aquatic Wetline. There may be a special guest fish keeper. If so, who? Don't miss the South American Cichlid Spotlight featuring Oscar cichlids, Geophagus, chocolate cichlids, and more. Schooling Fish Spotlight will include silver dollars, tinfoil barbs, Bela sharks, and more. What new fish will Aqua Alex get? Aqua Alex will also discuss why Asian Arowanese should be legal in the USA. All that and more. It all goes down live Sunday, November 12th, 2023 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on the 200th episode of Aquatic Wetline. Come one fish keeper, come all. You are all invited. See you there.
Hey everyone, Aqua Alex Cardinale here. I'm very honored and happy to tell you the news that I have a new sponsor and supporter. Oasis Aquatics is being very gracious enough to sponsor Aqua Alex and Aquatic Wetline. Here to tell you more about Oasis Aquatics are the owners themselves. Here is the Oasis Aquatics official commercial.
So my name is Tom. I started fish keeping when my grandfather dug a fish tank out of the attic when I was about 5 years old.
So my name's Matt. I'm part of Oasis Aquatics. Been doing this for a long time. Started when I was about 7 years old. 22 years of doing this business.
I'm 29 years old now. I never stopped. There wasn't a day in between where I did not think about fish keeping.
I was doing a vet tech job for many years. Eventually I stopped that because this is my passion in my life.
Matt and I have known each other far too long, as many friendships should be.
And you're like, you know what? We need a fish store. There's no fish stores around here. So we had to make it easy access for everyone, to have many varieties from the little small stuff for everyone to the monster fish keeper people.
No matter what it is that you're looking to do, we can provide it for you.
Little Egypt Aquarium Club is a proud supporter of Aqua Alex Cardinale and Aquatic Wetline. Little Egypt Aquarium Club is an aquarium club in Red Bud, Illinois, but it's also an online tropical fish supplies website. On the Little Egypt Aquarium Club website, you'll find tropical fish food such as repashy and flakes. You'll also find medications and breeding supplies and even live angel fish. Everything and anything you may need for your freshwater aquarium can be found at Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Orders over $200 get free shipping. Little Egypt Aquarium Club is giving a 10% discount by using the code ALEX. Remember, save 10% by using coupon code ALEX. Little Egypt Aquarium Club, my Shopify. Come.
Do you have a young child that wants to enter the aquarium hobby? Great. Then I've got the perfect book for you. It was written by 14-year-old tropical fish keeper Brian Conway. The name of the book? Fish Keeping for Kids. This is a great book for young children and really people of all ages. I wish I had this book when I was younger. Do you have children that want to enter the aquarium hobby? I think they would benefit from reading this book. There are sections in the book for various topics that are very beneficial. There's a section for setting up and cycling an aquarium. There's a section on different types of fish food, and even a section on different fish species. This book is very beneficial for kids entering the aquarium hobby. For more information Also, to purchase a copy of this book, just go to fishkeepingforkids.com. Look at the amazing stuff this book has. It's a very, very good read. You can't go wrong with this amazing book. A lot of great information in here. I think you're going to enjoy this book. Fishkeepingforkids.com. Aqua Alex and Aquatic Wetline proud to support this here on our fish keeping show. Welcome back to Life in Africa. Today we are talking about Nigerian wildlife. So welcome to Nigeria. Let's continue talking about the freshwater fish species that you will find in Nigeria. Up next, we have a small predator that you'll find in Nigeria. It is known as the African leaffish. And no, this is not the cenopomas that are popular in the aquarium hobby. It is a completely different fish. It stays much smaller than the cenopomas. So this is a predatory nanofish. Now, it reaches 3 inches max, and it inhabits pools, swamps, creeks, and slow-moving rivers. It occurs most frequently in areas of submerged vegetation around the banks of those areas. And they'll feast on small shrimp and small crustaceans, as well as smaller fish as well. These are available in the aquarium hobby from time to time. So if you do have a small aquarium and you want a small predatory fish, the African leaffish could be for you. Very, very cool fish, to say the least. I like small predatory fish. So if I were to ever get a small tank, I probably would consider getting an African leaffish. Well, some fish species that come from Africa are the polypterus, or the bashurs, or as I like to call them, the bikers. My all-time favorite polypterus comes from Nigeria and is known as the saddle biker or the Enlacheri biker. The Enlacheri biker lives in Nigeria as well as many other parts of Africa, but it's cool to know that the Enlacheri biker can be found in Nigeria, which is pretty cool. Now, the Enlacheri biker is one of the largest growing bikers, and it is extremely popular in the aquarium hobby, so that's pretty cool to know. Another biker that comes from Nigeria is the popular Senegal biker. And the Senegal biker is extremely well liked in the aquarium hobby, so much so that there's the albino Senegal biker now, there's the platinum Senegal biker, and the long-finned biker. Very, very, very cool. Well, this next oddball fish that I'm going to talk about, one of my all-time favorites, and that's the West African lungfish. Like I said before, the West African lungfish reminds me of a hybrid between a fish, a salamander, and an axolotl. It is very, very cool. The West African lungfish can actually survive out of water for a day or so, provided it stays moist. The West African lungfish does grow quite large. It can grow up to 3 or 4 feet, which makes it one of the largest lungfish out there, which is really cool. You gotta love and respect the West African lungfish. Now, for catfish that come from Nigeria, you've got the classic Synodontis eruptus, or the feather-fin Synodontis. You'll find that catfish living in Nigeria. And finally, we have my favorite African puffer, my favorite African freshwater puffer you'll find living in Nigeria, and that is the Fahaka puffer. Now, the Fahaka puffer can reach about 13 inches in length. So if you do want to keep a Fahaka puffer in an aquarium, you'll need at least a 75-gallon or a 125-gallon or larger. The Fahaka puffer does grow to a good size, but they are kept in the aquarium hobby quite commonly, and they're more readily available than your MBU puffer. And you can find the Fahaka puffer living in Nigeria. All right, and that is all the animals that I'm going to cover on tonight's episode. Those are all the animals that live in Nigeria. So those are all the Nigerian wildlife that I'm going to talk about on this episode of Life in Africa. If you enjoyed this episode of Life in Africa, please hit that like button. It means a lot. I appreciate everyone that took the time to watch today's episode. I certainly hope you enjoyed learning about Nigerian wildlife. On the next episode of Life in Africa, episode 4, we're going to Cameroon. And we're going to learn about the wildlife that lives in Cameroon. What mammals and what land animals live in Cameroon? Well, we're going to find out on the next episode of Life in Africa. We're also going to find out what fish live in Cameroon. So don't miss the next episode of Life in Africa, where we go to Cameroon. That's going to be a great time. Well, that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Please have a great rest of your evening or day, whatever time it is when you're watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you watched to the end, you're an absolute legend. So thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody, and I will see you on the next episode of Life in Africa.
Happy Thanksgiving. You are invited to tune in to the 3rd annual Thanksgiving Day livestream broadcast hosted by Alex Cardinale. While you prepare your turkey dinners, I have put together an awesome show for you. Planned for the 2023 Thanksgiving Day livestream. What I am thankful for this year. What we should all be thankful for. Turkey cooking tips from Chef Alex, Thanksgiving recipes. NFL on Thanksgiving Day preview and predictions. Aqua Alex discusses what he's thankful for as a fish keeper, shows off his fish. And more. Live Thanksgiving morning, Thursday, November 23, 2023, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time on YouTube channel American Alex Cardinale. On Friday, December 29, 2023, something epic is going to happen. Something Alex Cardinale has never done before will go down. Check this out for size. Alex Cardinale will be hosting a 12-hour live stream for the 2023 finale. It will be one of the last live streams of the year. It will start at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time, and conclude at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Everyone is welcome to be part of the show. You can simply just tune in and watch, or you can join the show and chat with me on air. A link to the studio will be provided in the chat on the day of the show, and you can join the show. Show off your aquariums, ask me questions, etc. There will be appearances from Aqua Alex Cardinale and Chef Alex Cardinale. I will replay some of the best moments of 2023 during the 12-hour live stream. There will be plenty of topics and special guests. Jeremy Stelhern, Catherine Jones, Garcia Aquatics, and many more will be on the show. Don't miss the 12-hour live stream 2023 finale, live Friday, December 29, 2023, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time, right here on YouTube channel American Alex Cardinale.
Over that's all, folks.